sound is cool. And the effect that sound has in video games is a huge part into making the immersion, mood, and memorability of a title. You can argue this with any media medium, but for video games, it has more of a bias because you're directly controlling the character or thing on the screen. The rev of an engine, the step on the floor, splash of water, the sounds of otherworldly things that the human mind cannot comprehend. But tying all of that together is the score that dictates the mood of the atmosphere you're in. Music. I'm talking music. In years recent, the music for a video game has become more ubiquitous in our connected culture. Which is funny to me because I remember a time where if you liked video game music, that made you a nerd loser nerd. Even music nerds back then thought you were weird. Oh, what? You like the beep boops of video game music? That's stupid. How could anyone like that sort of thing? You're weird. Imagine liking a sound so much that it comes from something so niche. Why can't you be like the rest of us and listen to things that matter? But thankfully, we have grown up, and natural selection has taken place. People like that suffocated in their respective tubas and triangles. Nowadays, video game music has become a more recognized part of our entertainment. From high schoolers in a bathroom to Mick Gordon, the grand orchestras that pound chilling strings in Modern Warfare, to fighting characters turned K-pop sensation. What, you think I'm immune to KDA? Please. The attention that game scores get today is so much more compared to when I was a child, and is integral to when a video game turns into television series. Now when I say the words, the best video game soundtrack, that's where you hear a pretty vast array of opinions. But they all end somewhat in a few common answers. Halo, Mario, Call of Duty, Doom, Zelda, Persona if you're feeling spicy. And if you want to stand out, you say something a little bit more nuanced, like Cuphead, Transistor, or really anything from Darren Corbin and Ashley Barrett, Phoenix Wright, Grand Theft Auto, what? Everybody's Gone to the Rapture? Who the fuck has thought of that game outside of 2015? And all of these are really great answers. You did it. I'm proud of you. Too bad they're all fucking wrong! Marty O'Donnell, more like Marty Stinky Pants. Nick Gordon, more like Dick Forden. I don't know what that means. Figure it out. Johan Sidorkvisk? Why do you have a Q in your name and no following you? You're using the letter Q wrong, you dingus. Jack Wall, more like Jack. I'm so bored of your music, it's making me smash my face into the wall. Wall. You're probably really mad at me right now. And that's okay. I was wrong once. If we're talking the best music ever featured in a video game, especially if said video game is part of a series, there's only one answer for me. A preamble before we get deep into things. I am not a music theorist. I have never taken a single class on music theory. I've played instruments like the saxophone, violin, and steel drums. I'm not joking. But again, when it comes to the deep analytical dissection of music, this is new territory for me. If you are a music theorist and think my opinion is wrong, feel free to say so in the comments. But I'm just expressing my adoration for something I like. And if you're one of those music theorists, your comment is very valuable, especially to me. You might have realized by now that Ace Combat is my favorite video game franchise. I could literally sing the praises for days into nights into fortnights about how fantastic these games are. The atmosphere, the stories, the direction, the gameplay. It just always works so well. Even Assault Horizon, as universally recognized as the weakest entry in the series, there's still a cathartic joy I get from it.
JK, I hate Ace Combat. It's so unrealistic and stupid and it sucks. Everyone should only play DCS, War Thunder, or Over G. I'm going to write a 200-page book on why it sucks, and you're stupid, and your face is stupid, and your stupid face is stupid. You don't even share your stupid face, you stupid face.
Look, if you like flight sims, that's cool. I'm proud of you. But the fact I can fly a multi-million or billion-dollar jet like this and not come out with a spine that looks like a silly straw from hell, I'm going to Ace Combat. This now 30-year-old franchise has truly earned its loyal following of silly straw-spined gamers. And as much as I would love to review each and every single game, picking apart each individual thing that makes them special, I'm not. There are plenty of videos, both normal and deranged, that perfectly encapsulates those opinions. And I share those opinions. For the most part. No, today, I want to focus on the one element that remains as consistent as the gameplay. I love the music of Ace Combat, man. It's kind of wild to me that not a lot of people obsess about how incredible and well-structured the music of Ace Combat is. So today, I'm going to be talking about the music of Ace Combat, how it started, how it evolved, where it might go, and what we should take away from this. I get to play a lot of Ace Combat for this video, and I just want you to know, I'm incredibly aroused right now. It's kind of wild how Ace Combat came from. Similar to icons like Pac-Man, Mario, Tennis. Similar to icons like Pac-Man, Mario, Tetris, the Ace Combat franchise started with a humble arcade machine. Well, when I say humble... Okay, even as an adult, this thing is badass. Look at it! Look at it! It's just so fucking cool! Move out of the way, Crimson Skies bubble. Fuck you, raise a dick and your F-355 challenge cabinet. It's just the cockpit of an F-16 ripped out of the plane itself and put in front of a 52-inch CRT eye-burning monitor. I mean, the only other machine that tops this is Mock Storm Arcade, which was also a Namco game, which... Shit, this one actually might be better, but that's not the point. And now I'm pissed because I was born in 1995, went to every possible arcade I could, and I never got to play this because they didn't have it. None of them. You all fucking suck. Although Namco only made a little over 300 of these machines, and I was probably like 4 when I started to go to arcades, so this was the humble beginnings. But even for the time, the game was impressive. It looked good for the time, played well, and was considered one of the most popular games out in the arcades. Now, you have to understand that at the time, people were pretty obsessed with one particular piece of media. That's right, it was Top Gun. This was one of my grandfather's favorite movies as well, which makes sense since he was a flight surgeon in the Navy. So this was his atmosphere for a major portion of his life. I do want to say real quickly that I do not like Tom Cruise. I do not like Tom Cruise and his shoes. I think he is a creep and his acting stinks. There are only 2 good films he is in, and that is Minority Report and A Few Good Men. But even though he's in Top Gun, the movie itself is pretty fun, so long as we avoid Cruise and his Scientology. Otherwise, I might have to undergo a lobotomy. There's a lot you can pick apart from this movie, but the 3 elements that stick out greatly are the sound, the cinematography, and of course the music. So a lot of these air combat arcade sims would try to replicate that feeling of what Top Gun did. But Air Combat did such a great job, especially the music. It may be just synthesizer and bass, and really that's all it had to be. It's funky and such a vibe, I can't help but vibe out to it. It's only a handful of tracks, but they're fun and they work with promoting the idea of, I'm Mr. Maverick, but I'm not a fucking creep like the one from the film. And then for the sequel, Air Combat 22, released on 1995, which again, what the fuck? Why did I see this machine as a kid? The music got a bit of an upgrade. Composers Kichi Okabe and Kazuhiro Nakamura looked at the Air Combat 1 soundtrack and said, yeah, this is good, but it needs a little bit more oomph. We need more 80s retro wave. This is such a huge improvement. They not only added more variety to just synth and bass, but they just made more music for the cabinet. Feels like a proper glow up. In the same year, Namco was releasing Air Combat for the Sony PlayStation and mobile phone. This was going to be the true start of the Ace Combat franchise, even though it was still called Air Combat because that's what people recognized. But it features familiar places to fans like Usea and the Scully Islands. Okabe and Nakamura were busy with making Air Combat 22's music, so Namco hired 2 more composers, Nobuhide Isayama and Masako Ugami, to work on a whole new OST. They could have just used a mix of the other 2 Air Combat games as soundtrack, but no. You know why? Because Namco in the 90s was based. So the music kind of sounds like a mix of the other 2 games'. You got some more drums and kick, which is nice. Then one of the 2 composers was like, yo, we got a fucking rock organ. Put it in. Put the rock organ in. I swear, this kind of sounds like a song from Ghost. Then they put away the rock organ and said to the guitarist and synth, all right, you guys, hey, you do you. You do you. Go nuts. And then it just kind of throws in Risk of Rain 2. Then they calm down. And then spice it back up again. It's just so good. It feels like Top Gun, but there's more identity to it rather than just replication. It's fantastic. In 1997, the next game in the Air Combat franchise came out. Ace Combat 2. No, I have no definitive reason for the renaming. Maybe for regions? I couldn't get a clear answer. Ace Combat 2 was headed by Namco designer Masanori Kato, who felt that the Air Combat games lacked a lot on the technical side. So he assembled a group of designers and created Ace Combat 2. This was a huge upgrade over the air combat games. This is like when Lionel switched from tinplate toy trains to die-cast metal scale trains. That's a model railroading reference, you fucking cretin. And just in the 90s Namco spirit, 3 new composers were brought in, and for the first time, they kept one of their previous composers, Isayama. Now, this feels like the start of an evolution. You got some guitar strings that feel straight out of air combat, but now there's a little more grandeur, a bit more complexity. There's some brass thrown in, the synth that never goes away, but not overshadowed. It's telling the listener that there's more going on in this world, but you're still flying multi-million-dollar fighter jets high in the skies. And then you get some creepy, almost ethereal sounds with what sounds like you're about to play Tokyo Extreme Racer. I will say, it's a pretty good soundtrack, but it does run into the problem of being samey. There's some really, really fun tracks in AC2, but some of them sound almost too similar to one another. But that's okay. The new Ace Combat team is just getting started, and this is a solid start overall. But the team determined that for the next game, Electrosphere, the OST needed a proper rethink. Gone with Isayama, returning was Okubo and Nakanishi, and 3 new composers, Go Shina, Koji Nakagawa, and Kanako Kakino, were brought in. Electrosphere is kind of an oddball game, because it's canon, but it's not canon, because it takes place in the simulation of the game's world Strangereal in 2040, where it's the Corpo Wars of Cyberpunk, and then that one episode of Black Mirror, but it's an overall improvement. It looks even better than 2 somehow, more responsive, and the music is just awesome. Some of these tracks sound as if they came out of Gran Turismo. I had to check if one of these composers were from Polyphony, and they were not. There's more of a cyber underground vibe that is reminiscent of a simulation. More of the ethereal sounds return, and somehow both feels and doesn't feel fitting to the situation. Someone snuck in some bongos into the simulation, then someone else snuck in a range stick, and I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but this is fucking wild. And they brought back the organ! They brought back the organ! Let's go! The game got scary again. This is a brilliant soundtrack. It's a blend of action, future, and horror that really needs to be heard to be believed. The way that they mix in sounds and play with the channels, it's so good. And it solidified what the overall direction for the music at the Ace Combat team was going to be for future titles. It's interesting to listen to these soundtracks as I have zero nostalgia for these games in the franchise. And yet, I can pluck out what the next decade was going to look like purely in the music category. Air Combat walked, so Ace Combat 2 and especially 3 could run, thus enabling the next game to soar. The Ace Combat team was so successful, it was time for a change. They were no longer labeled as a team at Namco, now given the name Project Aces. Shattered Skies, or Distant Thunder for your Europeans out there, we got the cooler name, losers, was one of the first games I ever owned, alongside Hot Pursuit 2 and some fishing game. But this was the game that got me into and absolutely hooked into the franchise as a whole. And I'm not the only one. 4 is highly regarded as the all-time great, and is the first part of the Holy Trinity of games that came out during the PS2 era. I'm sure that if you grew up during this time, and if you didn't play this game, you remember this box art and thinking how cool it was. Fighter jets involved in an international dispute involving weapons of mass destruction, death, grim topics of war, drinking, smoking, gunfights, despair, children becoming orphans trying to survive in a hostile military takeover of their town. Rated E for everyone! Just the intro cutscene alone is permanently burned into my mind. God, this game is so cool. It's also very 2000s, but man, is it cool. And then it gets cooler. It's so good. I don't know, but just the humming of the simulated computer screen with this calming techno over it is just pure bliss. AC4's soundtrack brings back Nakanishi and Okubo from Electrosphere, but also introduces Katsuro Tajima and Kiki Kobayashi. You're going to hear Kobayashi's name a lot more from now on. It starts off slow with these simple but beautiful strings introducing our cutscene main character. Then you get these loud, grand war horns with marching drums and symphonies, along with elegant strings that introduce us to the Independent State Allied Forces, or ISAF, and the threat that Eurasia possesses. And then it builds up at the briefing screen. It's this blend of military marching music with digital sounds mimicking computer sounds. It builds up the intensity of the situation and what you're about to fly into. And then you get into the next screen. The best way I can describe this song to me is that it feels like honor. You're a pilot, one of the best pilots, getting ready to serve his duty, to save the day. You go to your hangar to admire and acquire new fighters and equipment. It's just this guy going nuts on the guitar, but it doesn't feel intense. It's just him vibing. Like as if he's in a corner of a bar or something like that. It's peaceful. But you know what these machines are capable of. And then you need to prep for your sortie. That right there. That build up sends chills up my spine every time. It just sounds like the musical version of a jet engine spooling up. You're so ready. And you, Mobius 1, take to the skies to save the last line of defense, the sitting duck. It just keeps building and building and building, and then it gets to this grand part, and first you're like, oh, okay, that's cool, that's pretty too. And then some jackass with an electric guitar smashes in and screams, all right, everyone back the fuck up, this is a robbery. That's just the first mission, with the first mission song of the game. In just about 5 to 6 minutes of being thrown into an F4 Phantom, you feel like you can literally punch God in the face. When I heard this track for the first time when I was a wee little 6-year-old, I knew this was something special. It's kind of insane how great just these first few songs are, the intelligence of just purely telling a story through songs. I don't even need to show gameplay really, because you can use your imagination and get an exact picture of what's happening. As the game progresses, the music just becomes more and more interesting and intense. One thing that the team learned from AC2 is to make sure that when it came to designing the sound, that they shouldn't rely too much on one similar theme. So much of the score in AC4 just plays around with its environment. Okay, take the second mission, Imminent Threat, for example. It has the wartime drums and long melancholic horns, but because it's raining, they added these waterfall chimes. There's a gloominess to this song. Those fucking bells. It presents this level of doom if the mission fails. Hence, this base that you're tasked with destroying is an imminent threat to the future of ISAF and the world of Strangereal. A couple of successful missions go by, you feel confident in the progress. Lifeline starts off with these chill strings, maracas, low beat drums. It builds up a little, but you still feel chill. You're in full control of the situation. All is going great.
Mobius 1, heavy group, hot. Appears to be 5 targets in the group.
This is the, oh shit, man, we fucked up, man, I'm not ready, man, I'm not ready moment. You have to flee, otherwise you'll either die or be stuck in the air with them. The mission Deep Strike kind of does the same thing. It's a little more intense because you know what Yellow Squadron is capable of, but as long as you stick to the objective, everything is going to be fine.
Attention all aircraft, incoming from Stonehenge, confirmed on radar. Drop below 2,000 feet and head south to exit combat area.
Oh shit, man, oh fuck, oh shit, man, please stop, holy fuck, I just want to go home and play Helldivers, man. And then you get a little bit of a blast from the past. The guitarist Robert decides to come back and bring a friend with a synthesizer, or keytar, or both. This was such a proper song to put in here. Since the entire mission is strictly air-to-air, nothing but fighters, you feel like an ace. You're ready to kick ass, and so does the guitarist. Later, you and Isaf take Stonehenge head on. There's a lot on the line here. You might die. Everyone might die. But you need to fight back. The situation is dire for both sides. They even call in Yellow Squadron for backup. But you and Isaf prevail. And from this point on, the music reflects that. The war might be going on, but now, rather than a low dread looming over you, the morale you and Isaf have because of the destruction of Stonehenge and that Yellow Squadron is vulnerable, you're fearless. Meanwhile, while the story of Mobius 1 and the war is being told through the eyes of the military, we also get the side story of a boy living in an occupied city. And his story involves these beautiful guitars, gleeful harmonicas, and depressing strings, sometimes brought in all together. This makes the mission Emancipation, where you liberate the city in the cover of night, so exciting. Because while there's a lot on the line, normality can be brought back. It's almost magical. The bell is back too, but it doesn't sound as foreboding as it did earlier. The outcome of the war is going in a positive direction. Right up until word is that Erusea is going for one last-ditch effort to win the war. These two tracks are fucking insane. It feels like the end of the world and you're fighting to see the light on the other side. The choir with the insanely loud drums and horns, the constant gunfire from the team on the ground. The fight is just barely going in your direction, but Megalith has one more card up its sleeve. And there's only one way to stop it.
Get the sub-control room under control. The exhaust vents are open. Hurry up, the planes are plunging in any minute now.
No one else could have saved the day. You deserve your cake.
Every day I wake up unsure of the task the day will bring. Yesterday's disappointments, they keep reminding me.
This ending never ceases to amaze me. This alone is my favorite soundtrack to any Ace Combat. It has such range, so much passion put in. The planning alone must have been endless weeks of ideas and compositions. But more importantly, it tells a story without any sort of visuals needed. Tetsuchi Nakanishi was the sound director for Ace Combat 4, and in the album cover sheet, he writes, Sorry, let me try that again. He says that for this new Ace, we needed to provide a hot BGM in a way that was different from the previous series, a direction that satisfies various key words such as social anxiety, anger, and sadness. At first glance, many of them seem plain, but they are actually quite hot and fiery. It's a gradual feeling, so let's call it a hidden heat. Even if it's the same heat, it's not an explosion, but a burn. Not just flashy or hot, but also coldness that hides it. That's probably why I gravitated and even went so far as to buy this wonderful soundtrack. It's a constant but exciting gradual build-up from such classic sounds that was inspired by Top Gun, but having its own hidden heat to make it special. It's funny, I didn't play AC5 or Zero during my childhood days. I think if I remember correctly, my parents saw the T rating and went, "Oh no! No. But I did play them both for the first time only a few years ago. Great games. Kind of insane plots, but great games. AC5 teaches us the valuable lesson of absolutely hating Belkans. Who are these people, you may ask? Why, they are the people from the nation of Belka, famously known for figuring out how to use aircraft in war, imperialist actions, and nuking themselves with 7 nukes to end an international war and switching over to a nationalist civil war, and having said nationalists cause problems in other nations for future events in the Ace Combat universe. Like in AC5, where people loyal to classic Belka take over the Osean government from the inside out and make you and your squadron to be the villains. Surely, nothing like that would ever happen in real life with a government system. Surely, a bunch of lunatics taking over a major superpower and running it into the ground so fast that the kamikaze pilots of World War II would be a little bashful would not happen. Surely this would never happen in real life, and we would all look at AC5 like it's a fun little story, and we'd all go, ha 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 ha, that's so kooky and unrealistic. Surely! Kids, it's important not to be racist and be kind to your neighbors. But you can hate Belkans. They are not real people. Ace Combat 5's soundtrack kind of sounds like a remix of 4's, because in some cases it is. Like with the song First Flight, it's just a rearranged version of Blockade from AC4. That's not to say that they didn't do anything. Kobayashi, Nakanishi, Okubo, and newcomer Junichi Nakasuru gave the Unsung War that signature flair that the OSTs prior were known for. There's great use of strings that send chills down the spine, the electric guitar is a little more restrained, but used in ways to convey intensity over a situation. So in 4, the guitar was used in a way that sounded like late 80s pop. You can visualize the guitarist wearing leopard print pants with a white leather belt and an insane hair situation. With 5, the guitarist was listening to Metallica. A lot of Metallica. AC5 definitely has some sort of attitude thing going on. I mean, they put in Blurry by Puddle of Mud in one of the cutscenes, and I still find that incredibly funny. It's even in the actual fucking album itself. Puddle of Mud is now the best band of all time and are incredibly based, and if you say otherwise, I'm going to get you. Though the OST calms itself down in these really beautiful pieces. And then it ramps up. And then it comes all together. God, this is such a weird game. God, it's so good. I still think AC4 is a better sounding package overall. But man, Ace Combat 5 comes really, really close. 2 years go by, and Xbox 360 releases to the world only to kill itself over and over again. and the PS3 and Wii are on the way. Thus, this will be the end times for the beloved PS2, arguably the greatest console to ever release. May you rest in peace. Starting in 2014 when the last PS2 game was released, and in 2006, Project Aces had one more game for the beloved Sony console. The more I play Zero, the more I really come to appreciate how interesting and bonkers it is. How bonkers? I mean, if you consider some of the best pilots of every nation's military deciding to split off and join a mercenary group which has the philosophy of creating a world without borders, naming the mercenary group a world without boundaries, after a nation that was so fueled by war and hate that they decided to set off 7 nukes across their borders to seal themselves away from the rest of the world. Normal? I mean, no. No, I don't have a joke here. No, that's not normal. You're fucking crazy. Zero does, however, have one of the most interesting soundtracks in the entire franchise. Considering the context of the events of the Balkan War, shit's about to get dark. And that's perfectly reflected in the title screen. But immediately following, when you start the story and the prologue plays, you get this track. See, a lot of it kind of sounds like 4 and 5, right? But it's that guitar in a track full of old synths, strings, and drums. That guitar sticks out in such a distinct way. It shouldn't work, and yet it does. Same team as the last game. Maybe that was just a fluke, right? Because now we go all the way back to 4, because this briefing music sounds just like an upgrade to 4's briefing music. It just sounds so good. I love the little mashing of that synth. And it comes back with a vengeance with the sortie. I think it was when Glacial Skies plays that this was going to be something special. It starts so slowly, and then it builds and builds, adds a little tension, and then engage. There's so much detail and precision to how just this one track comes together. It's exciting, it's thrilling, It sounds new, but familiar at the same time. The guitarist for the soundtrack, Takanori Goto, must have gotten really into sounds from the likes of Nirvana, a little bit of Metallica, because then this happens. Just sounds so heavy, so ground under with some light at the end of the tunnel, and I love it. B7R kind of sounds like a classic Conflict track. It's grand, it has intensity, and to be fair, this is the zone where only the best of the best dogfighters come together. By the way, the theme for Ace Combat Zero is that dogfighting is cool as fuck. B7R is also the first mission where you get to take on an elite squadron for the first time. The Belkan Air Force's Rot Squadron. That really doesn't invoke inspiration for their allies or terror for their enemies, does it? And this is the exact moment where Takanori got bored of listening to grunge, so he gets up, puts away the electric, and goes for one of these. And then and back to the Tokyo Drift battle. It's as if everyone in that recording studio decided to say, "Fuck flamenco," and just smash every other instrument into it. It's fun to listen to, and it's really fun to fight with. For the next few tracks, the OST goes in the direction of that classic Ace Combat sound. A little bit of guitar with the orchestra taking center stage. So lots more classical strings, brass, and drums to fill in that space. It's good, but I am in miss for the flamenco. Wait a minute. Holy shit, the flamenco survived the bashing from earlier. It may be only a simple chord. Am I using that terminology right? You know what I mean. And it's paired so well with the synth. Now, how can you add to an already pretty impressive musical experience? Whip out the fucking cowbell! It's like a grungier version of Sitting Duck or something, and I love it. Of course, Takanori needs a break, and he has his flamenco back, and a gun, and some castanets. tell, the team just went fucking wild with just all the sounds. It's not my favorite soundtrack, as I feel some of the tracks are a little forgettable, but the tracks that do stick out are just gorgeous. Even though there is an intensity to the tracks in this game, understandably so, the team was just having a lot of fun. In the last major mission track, Zero, they just went at it. It's a perfect dueling song. That guitar alone carries the soundtrack so hard. Even though I wanted more of it, using it sparingly for the moments that were impactful, emotional, even a bit stressful, those were the appropriate times. And to save it for the climactic fight between you and your former wingman, it's perfect. You may not be physically in that jet, but on harder difficulties especially, your body strains, you groan, you snarl, and you fight your way to victory, which is only enhanced by the track itself. And so, the curtain falls on the Holy Trinity. 3 absolutely masterful games with 3 equally masterful soundtracks. I still consider these 3 to having the best OSTs in the franchise. There's almost a timelessness to their sounds, the emotional weight that they convey. But of course, we're not done yet. We've only explored the first 6 games in the franchise. And we need to get into the next generation. With the returning names of the people who made some of the best music known in the franchise, Ace Combat 6 Fires of Liberation is fine. It's a fine soundtrack. I know I'm sounding a little harsh, but a lot was riding on AC6 at the time. The first Ace Combat on the new 7th generation console, the 360. There was a huge push for this game. Anyone remember the ads that they would run in the magazines where they'd be like, is this a real image or a screenshot from AC6? I was so hyped. And then it comes out and a fan or newcomer is like, yeah, this is fine. It's considered to this day as the black sheep of the franchise, as it does everything a good Ace Combat should do, but lacks overall quality, depth, even skimming on the charm element. The music for the 6th game reflects this malaise. Now granted, I don't absolutely despise any of the music of this game, and there are a few tracks that are pretty good and give off that charm. Invasion of Grace Maria has this great build-up. I like that the flute in particular just sticks out from the rest of the orchestra. It's a really, really good sounding track. Then when the Giacchino and Strigan team attack, it switches to this, and it just sounds alright. I like the bongos. But the rest of the instruments just don't give off that sense of urgency to evacuate the area. I have to bring up Ace Combat 4, because the OST of that game knew how to handle a situation like that. The mission Lifeline sets up the mood for the entire mission exactly. The opening track is kind of this cool but thrilling beat because it's a night raid, and then it's followed up with a Kia because Yellow Squadron is just that fucking terrifying. Look at the Stonehenge track as well. It's intimidating. It's saying, get the fuck out. It's just lacking that punch in 6, which is sad because there are quite a few tracks that are really, really good. Vitosi Air Defense opens with this foreboding rhythm. It's one of the last lines of defense for the Grace Marian military. The weather is bad. There's Estovakian troops and planes everywhere. It feels like a bare-knuckle brawl at first, and then it builds up to an all-out mosh pit. Ania Landing has this part where the drums completely take over. You can just feel the amount of force the drummers are putting in, and the orchestra is just following along with that same sort of energy. When you fight the Giacchino in the Dead Sea, it brings back that ethereal sound. There's a level of fear because of what kind of weapon you're contending with, but you got to take it down. It's the only chance you've got. Weapons of Mass Destruction has a pretty mid opening song, a really incredible middle song where only you and Shamrock are being chased down by every damn fighter in the universe, almost giving this sense that you're going to die here. The music cuts and you realize that the situation has gone from bad to completely unwinnable.
The enemy has a lock on you. Careful now. The enemy has you on radar.
And then it ramps up with a redone version of the Grace Maria Invasion song. I also really love the song that plays when you fight Pasternak after liberating Grace Maria. It's terrifying, intense, alien. There are really good songs here, buried with a lot that just sounds either samey, lackluster, and a bit on the diluted side. Kind of like the game itself. I like 6 because it still plays like an Ace Combat should. It's just a bit on the half-baked side. Thankfully, both Project Aces and Bandai Namco realized the faults of Ace Combat 6, and they would never do anything to upset the fan base ever again. Here it is. The Ace of Combats, the one that everyone hated. Ace Assault Horizon, more like my ass got zoned here. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm actually kind of terrified of just mentioning this game. I'm pretty sure it's hidden in the rules of the Ace Combat subreddit that if you're going to mention Assault Horizon with any positivity, you are legally allowed to be firebombed. They just can't actually say that because of TOS or whatever. Look, if you ask me, Assault Horizon is fun. And wait. Put that down. Put it down. Put that down. Hear me out. Ace Combat does a great job at chaotic, intense dogfighting in an open area that feels semi-realistic. Assault Horizon does this.
I got your back, boss. Right.
Magic, roger that. I'm on my way.
Hostile is closing on city. Engage and destroy.
All yours, Will. Bandits are heading toward the stadium.
This is really stupid, but I love it. If this game was just called Assault Horizon or Call of Duty or Viva Pinata 3, I'm sure it would be fine. But the fact that this brandishes the Ace Combat name is the main reason why people don't like this game, or at the very least can't forgive it. I understand the hate for it, but I don't entirely hate it. And I'm surprised at how not terrible the soundtrack is. Actually, some of the tracks are really good. Just shut up for a second and listen to this. And this. This. And this. Doesn't this music make you want to punch someone in the face? Not like in a random street violence kind of way. More of a mosh pit style kind of way. Honestly, it kind of sounds like this guy got involved. In reality, while some of the old guard like Kobayashi and Okubo were involved, most of the composers were new to the Ace Combat series. These new composers are pretty well recognized for their work in some of the most iconic, recognizable games that people still talk about to this day. Here, let me list a few of the games that these people worked on. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, Sons of Liberty, and Guns of the Patriots, Bayonetta, Ninja Blade, Persona 4, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Katamari Damacy, Tekken 7, Rumble Roses XX. That one's for Casey. You can hear all their influences, the deranged guitar, the layers and layers of instruments clashing, trying to outperform one another, the synths just going fucking crazy. And it's not all mosh pit fight music. There are some great calm tracks. Chill, not in your face. Sometimes a bit forgettable. By far, out of all the mainline games, this one isn't the best OST. Some of the songs are just fine, generic. This game was trying to emulate the success of Call of Duty 4. America versus Russia, Middle Eastern rebels, you know the beats. But man, when the fight music begins... God, the fight music refuses to leave until the very end. Like the game itself, it's a very experimental formula that goes against the set traditions and expectations of Ace Combat's prior. There is some influence from the past, but mostly drowned out by... And that's okay. It's Assault Horizon. And it never happened again. In between the mainline games, there were a bunch of AC games that came out. These were mostly made for the handhelds, and then there was the one that was made exclusively for the PS3. I don't know why the series is like this, but it could be worse. Much worse. I'm just going to blast through these since 7 has a lot more to talk about. The script at this point is 26 pages long, and imagining how long this video is going to be already terrifies me. Did you know that there was an Ace Combat for the Game Boy? Sorry, let me rephrase that. Did you, everybody that isn't Casey, know that there was an Ace Combat for the Game Boy? It's not that good. The music is okay. This one I like. they tried at least. Still not great, but they tried. Where they tried for what I can only describe as zero fucking reason is with Ace Combat X for the PSP. Like, why did they try this hard? Not only is the game fun on its own, the OST sounds like a sequel to Electrosphere. Listen to this shit. Why does it sound so good? It's dynamic, it's exhilarating. It's not even composed by any of the regulars at Project Aces. What the hell? Why would they do this? The only people who bought a PSP over a DS were weirdos like me who liked Pursuit Force and lacked the interest in Nintendo. Why? Why? It's kind of the same story as the other PSP Ace Combat, Joint Assault. Kind of sounds a lot like Zero's OST, like a reinterpretation. It's very good. I'm enjoy. Hey, you guys want a little bit of a fun fact about these Ace Combat games? So Assault Horizon took place in the real world rather than Strangereal, right? Well, the 3DS game, Assault Horizon Legacy, takes place not in the real world, but in Strangereal. And the PSP game, Joint Assault, takes place in the real world instead of Strangereal. Even though Assault Horizon Legacy has the name Assault Horizon, so you would think that it was a sequel or prequel or quill of the Assault Horizon game, but it's not. I have no idea why they did this. There was also Ace Combat Shi, or XI, Skies of Incursion for the iOS in 2009, and then Ace Combat Northern Wings for the mobile. I have no comment. Hey, speaking of things I have no idea why they did this thing, there's Ace Combat Infinity. The music is mostly either from old games or remixes. I like the Blue Skies Infinity remix. You can't play this game anymore. And on that day, we as humanity vowed to never make a crappy live service game ever again. Ever again. Ever again. Ever again. Ever again. Get on with it! Finally, in January 2019, the good people at Bandai Namco and Project Aces decided to not fuck around with bullshit and make a true follow-up to the mainline series with Ace Combat 7. We've come to the end of the series, at least for now. And while 7 might not be considered the best in the series, it does show off some of the best elements that Project Aces chartered for the past 30 years. The music alone is what makes this entry stand out so hard. The team knew that in order to stick the landing with the OST, they had to bring back everyone who was either there from the beginning or made such an impact in the OST's past that they had to be involved with 7's. And this OST wasn't just going to be solely for Ace Combat 7. It was also going to celebrate some of the team's best songs remastered to a higher fidelity. Here's the physical OST. It has 6 fucking CDs. We're going to focus on the music that was made for AC7. The themes for Ace Combat 7 focus on what the world of war is evolving into. The series has always been known about the use of experimental, dangerous technology being used in an active battlefield. Stonehenge, a Gaion, Gleipnir, Chandelier, whatever experimental world-changing weapon. But 7 was going to talk more about the future of warfare, something that Electrosphere somewhat touched on. The use of drones with adaptive AIs that can share their collective knowledge with one another in a matter of seconds. Being able to be fully self-sufficient in repairs, deployment, and tactics. The discussion about the dark blue of the skies, implying the future of where the franchise might be headed next. In the words of a terrifyingly accurate clock, the past is far behind us, the future doesn't exist. What 7 is entering into is a future where we don't know what's going to happen. With these technologies advancing so much faster and farther that many cannot comprehend. It's alien. To reflect that type of fear, the music team got to work. The sound that they created is expressive based on time. In the opening track, for example, Drag Racer, it starts with familiar, almost comforting sounds of acoustic guitars. There's a simplicity to it, thrilling but warming at the same time. Then it ramps up, bringing in more strings and some horns. It's a sound of excitement, adventure. There's fun to be had. The intensity of the current predicament in Strangereal is revealed in the IUN briefing. Those synths just send shudders down my spine. But you're ready. That's why you have this almost happy sound coming from the Fort Gray's airbase hangar. Charge Us Out almost sounds like a classic, yeah man, we got this sort of song. In the here and now, there's nothing stopping you and your fellow squad mates. Unmanned craft is the start of the tensity. It's fast-paced, foreboding, and even though you win the fight against these drones, something doesn't feel quite right. The next mission starts off with this exhilarating but somewhat chill song, Dual Wielder. You're in a combat scenario, but you know who you are. You're familiar with these skies. You've flown them in the past through thick and thin. Nothing is going to stop you now. And then the Arsenal bird shows up. That fucking wailing cannot be ever more perfect. This is something you really haven't fought before. Sure, you fought airships like this in the past, but it can launch many more fighters, launch even more missiles, and it even has a fucking shield. Even with your advanced weapons, your talents as a pilot and the dogfighting skills you've brought, you simply cannot fight this thing. The way that throughout the game the music bounces between classic and familiar with the horror of the unknown is nothing short of expertise. The music perfectly flows between chapter to chapter of Trigger's journey. At first, being a part of Fort Grays and the IUN, the music gives off this valiant energy, eager to show off what you can do. And then you shoot down the former president of Osea by accident. Actual plot point.
Oh my god.
You get sent to a POW camp, but a special kind of POW camp where the prisoners can fly aircraft to make the Osean force much stronger than it is. The music reflects this change of atmosphere as that guitar from Drag Racer takes center stage. And then that guitar gets traded for an electric one in the next mission. And then the team is just like, all right, let's funk. God, it's just so good. Why is it this funky? Shut the funk up and listen to this fuck. And then the music rebuilds itself, only getting more and more grand as you successfully perform missions, even though you are a prisoner. And then the aliens are back. After proving to your superiors that you have more potential and you learned your lesson from exploding the former president of Osea, you now get transferred to the LRSSG. And the music is not necessarily valiant, but redeeming. You're ready to continue proving your worth. There's a mission that, yes, in a callback kind of way, where you use one of the last operational railguns at Stonehenge to take out one of the Arsenal birds. The cool part is that it's not just a return to Stonehenge, but they also followed up on the exact sounds used from the old Stonehenge song in AC4 and then repurposed them to create a whole new song for this level. There's other intelligent sounds as well. When fighting Soul Squadron and Mihaly and Farbanti, you have this choir that opens, then leads to the acoustic guitar, and then keeps building to combine into this epic dogfighting song. Kind of gives off this vibe that you're duking it out with literal sky royalty, and it's amazing. Now, of course, if we're talking about the music of Ace Combat 7, you know what we have to talk about. No, not yet. Lighthouse is this grand and fun, yeah, we're gonna kick your ass vibe. A grouping of all the sounds heard throughout the game into this inspiring, invigorating clash. Okay. Now, we can initiate the discussion of the song in the entire game that is mentioned the most out of everything.
Fucking hurry up!
When the second Arsenal bird shows up, this almost spells doom for you. The last Stonehenge gun is destroyed and very, very far away, and none of you have the power to take this thing out. Even if you damage it, it's just going to shield up and repair itself. And at one point, it does that. The situation looks grim. You and your fellow pilots, everything you've fought for, is about to crumble from beneath your feet. This thing is pretty much indestructible. and it can keep sending as many fighters as it wants, tirelessly. But then, hope. Do I really have to say anything here? Doesn't this just make you want to stand up? It's hard to argue against the effectiveness of this one song. I'm not the only one. Seriously, type Ace Combat 7 Daredevil in the search bar and you'll see a collective fangasm. There are reinterpretations of this one fucking song by metal artists, and it's cool and epic and cool. This fandom are the biggest nerds, and I love them. The last few songs are great too. LRSSG Briefing 4 gives off this finish the fight vibe, Space Elevator is alien and foreboding, and Dark Blue is celebratory. They're great songs. But like, Daredevil. I swear the best things to come out of Ace 7 is Daredevil and the main character of the plot. Clip art dog. Besides that, ending this game on the French song Pensées, French, symbolizing the needing peace in the world. There's too much fighting, and while it resulted in some amazing music, the death and destruction was a bit much. The song inspires hope, compassion, and rebuilding. "30 years of games, 30 years of intense dogfights, 30 years of pushing technology, 30 years of music." A couple years ago, I opened my UB Combat video by saying that Ace Combat is a titan of a franchise. And that reigns true. But it's really impressive how Project Aces and the people at the forefront genuinely care about crafting an experience so palpable that keeps fans like me coming back and patiently waiting God knows how long for another entry, or praying for a remastered collection. There are many things to love about the series, but even when the game is considered weak or bad, the music is one element that never ceases to be less than. It is seriously impressive how throughout each game, you can tell that the composers, the people behind the music, keep pushing themselves to find new, unique, and more notably, thematically appropriate compositions that fit within an entry's message. Music is cool in general, discovering what sounds not only sound good to the ear, but can perfectly paint a picture in the mind's eye. When people ask me what music genre or which musicians I follow, I normally just give out the same answer. I just listen to everything, man. Fuck. I do have my go-tos, such as Ghost, Queens of the Stone Age, Benjamin Clementine, King Giz, A Day to Remember. But to me, few artists create music so memorable and distinct that I can picture the entire scene of what the music is supposed to invoke in my mind. Kiki Kobayashi, Tetsukazu Nakanishi, Hiroshi Okubo, and everyone involved cannot be thanked enough for what they have collectively produced. Their involvement in this franchise has not only helped their career in their fields, but have graced the world with some of the consistently best-sounding music in music production history to me. In times like these, where we're watching thousands and thousands of layoffs, AAA games becoming the equivalent of gray goo, live services being made with no real inspiration other than corporate greed, only to be killed off in either a few months or few days, and an ever-changing world where there seems to be no light. Sometimes we need to look at where we can find joy, where we can find inspiration, creativity, story, and hope. And for me, that starts with putting on some headphones.
Hey, I
I know it's been a minute, and probably from the way I sound, you can tell that I'm kind of sick right now. But I wanted to make this impromptu message at the end saying, this is all my fault. Mainly because this video took so long to make, but not only that. I fell into a bit of a rabbit hole of, let's just say, self-doubt. There's also been a few other things going on, especially involving one of my family members, one specific family member that has been causing chaos for the rest of us. Maybe I'll go into detail in the future about that, but in the here and now, let me just apologize. This video took way too long to make, and I kept putting it off. I had a surgery in between, and I kept putting it off even further. It just kept getting worse and worse. So, there's a new standard. From now on, no more hour-long plus videos. I mean, Jesus Christ. In the here and now, though, I will be making videos that are not over an hour long. Like, I need a break from that, especially. And it's also just not sustainable. In the end, it's not sustainable for me as a creator, and it's not sustainable for you as the viewer, or I guess in this case, listener. So, to those who are still sticking around, thank you. It really does mean a lot, and I hope you enjoy this video, faults and all. But now, why are you a bitch? Fuck you. And would you ever do a video on a third-person action games like DMC or Hi-Fi Rush? As a matter of fact, along those lines is the next video.